Flosstube! Welcome to my channel, Bobo Jessie Stitches. I'm Jessie. This is a channel primarily about cross-stitching. Whether you are new or returning, welcome in. I hope that we have a good time today. Grab your tea, grab your stitching, and let's have some fun. I'm laughing because that was my third time trying to start this video. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, why did I restart? Because they were bad. They were bad starts. I hope that everyone had a good February. It's as you can probably tell from my voice, for those of you who first time you were watching me, this is not my normal voice. Unfortunately, I'm a little sick. I feel like every time I film a video, I'm a little sick, y'all. I promise I'm not always sick. But I did take a week off of work. Well, I actually ended up not taking the full week off, ended up being about more like half a week. Because I did still have to do some work that week. But I took a week off, and I don't know, like, I don't know if this happens to other people, but like when you're really busy at work, at least, I think this happens, but like you're kind of running on adrenaline, right? Like you're kind of like, my body must push through and get this stuff done. And so like you kind of focus and I think your body kind of takes care of itself, but then all of a sudden you rest and it's like, oh, okay, oh, now we're going to let you deal with all of the damage that you did to yourself and the adrenaline high that you were on for 6 weeks for work. So I ended up taking about a half week off, not this past week, but the week before. And then around Saturday of last weekend, I started feeling a little, and so now here we are. And it seems like I'm losing my voice. It does seem to be a lingering kind of a cough, but we'll hopefully it goes away soon. But anyways, we're fine. I'm drinking tea, and I'm making a floss tube. What better kind of Saturday can you have? I am filming this on Saturday, March 2nd, for those of you that it matters to. February was not a busy month, even me taking some time off. I didn't really do a whole lot of stitching because I really actually was resting. In that half week I took off, only 2 of those days I ended up not working. I ended up sleeping a lot. Like I slept I slept a proper 8-hour night. I usually sleep between 7 to 8 hours every night. And then like I ended up like waking up, doing some stuff, and then like taking a nap. So I was sleep debt and like my body was collecting. So I ended up not doing as much stitching as I hoped I would, even with my time off. But overall, I don't think it was actually a terrible February. I did end up stitching 24 out of the 29 days. And I put in 5,937 stitches in the month of February. Again, for me, based on averages that I know from month over months and having since starting tracking this data, that's a low amount. That's a low amount for me. But you know what I say? Any day that you get to stitch is a good day. And some of these days I only put in like 100 stitches that day. I was tired. I was, I've lost a little bit of my stitching bug, but I feel like any kind of stitching is good stitching. And but also I show you a couple of these things, it's going to be a little bit this is not it really actually is not a true stitch count, because there were other things that I did that was stitching related, but that I don't count the stitches for, so that's not included in here. So let's go ahead and get started. First up is something that you've been following on, and I'm so excited to show because it is one of my first goals meets of the year, which is I finished dun 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 Lunar Princess Sal. This is by Sleeping Luna Designs, and I started this in 2021. So one of my goals for 2024 was to finish all of my projects that I started in 2021, and this is one of them. This remains. I have one more project, which is I search for an ancestor, but this is it. So look at that. Isn't that, oh, I love it. It's on 32 count Phantom, picture this plus, 2/2 with all of the called for DMC. I did substitute, when I did trace the planetary symbols, I did substitute that with the Etoile, the 310 Etoile. I'm not sure if you can really see the shiny component to it, but I thought I gave it a try. This is where the count is not quite as accurate. So I put in 8 days on this, 1,449 stitches into it. But what's not counted in that is all of the back stitching. I did the entire thing was back stitched. So I didn't backstitch as I went. I didn't count the French knots. There were a couple of half stitches that had to kind of get added that I hadn't decided which half I wanted to do. Like in the moon, everything along the crescent there's a half stitch there. I didn't know if I wanted to do the half stitch with the lighter blue or with the darker blue. So I ended up doing a lot of that. So there was actually quite a bit more stitching into this other than that 1449. But I didn't count them. I didn't like sit there and count because well, I'll go ahead and explain it to you. I've done some updates to my Notion app and where I'm able to track my progress on projects where I know the stitch count and I'm able to track it on either Pattern Keeper or I know I can count it really easily off the paper pattern. And so because those stitch counts don't include French knots and backstitching and things like that, I have just stopped counting that so that way I can maintain a more accurate progress based on the actual stitches in the project. So anyway, so there it is. Yay! This is actually my first official finish. I did have a finish for now in January for my next project, but I'm not considering the whole project a complete until all the parts are complete. So yay, that's project number 1. Super, super excited about that. My husband just came home. I did not close the door. So right now you may hear him talking a little bit. He may start playing his game, but don't worry about it. I have my mic. Hopefully it's not too bad. If it gets loud, I will close the door, but you may hear my dog squeaking her toy because she's happy that he is home. So, all right. Next up, I have Stitch for Pride. It's a finish for now. And here it is. So this is by D's 20 Stitches. Obviously, it's a Stitch for Pride 2024 series, Sal. This month was based off of the work by Kehinde Wiley. He is probably most popularly known as the artist who painted the Obama's official portraits after their post the presidency. And it's a beautiful, beautiful portrait, but he has so much beautiful work and it was really a lot of joy working on this one. I stitched this using the Evergreen color by Night Stalkers Calling, which I received in its countdown box in December. And this is on 32 count Determination by Mislaid Pages. I finished it for now. Obviously, I worked on this for 3 days and it was 741 stitches. As you can see, I did not do a spot sampler. I just went ahead and put a border into it. And so I plan, because these are all based on artwork, I thought it would be fun to finish these individually and make them their own little art pieces. And so I put a 2-inch border in between so that way I have enough room to finish. I'm hoping you can see there's not a whole lot of room on this side, but I think with March's release, I might be able to fit March in there. So fingers crossed. But yeah, I'm really happy that at least in 2 months, I've kept up. So we'll take wins when we can get them. I hope that I can keep up the whole year, and so we'll go with that. I really enjoyed doing that. Kehinde's artwork it was really nice looking. Mr. Wiley's artwork when I was doing. I confess I probably haven't done as much learning as I could. I really just kind of appreciated the art more than I did learning about the artist himself, which is really not a good thing. I should learn more about the artist, and I promise I'll be better going forward, hopefully when I have a little bit more time. But the I love the craftsman style of architecture. A real big fan of Frank Lloyd Wright in general. I love the elements of nature. Art Nouveau is kind of the next step within that craftsman style. It's not really my favorite, but I'm very drawn to that floral motifs of craftsman style work, and so I really enjoy looking at his artwork and seeing that and its use of vibrant colors and everything. So I really appreciated it. So I'm really excited to look at Marches as well. So yeah. All right, so that's up. Everything else is a WIP in progress. WIP in progress. WIP stands for work in progress. So I basically just said work in progress in progress. That's okay. All right, so next up is Castle Homecoming. This is by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is their annual stitch along that they did for 2023. I am way behind on it, but when we talk about plans, you'll see that I will hopefully get a little further up on it. And so here it is. So this is what I worked on. I am doing this on 32 count Sandcastle. It's Lugana by Coloring Cotton. Everything is called for, except that I am doing a skin and hair conversion for each of the people to look like people that inspire me. And so basically what I worked on since you last saw it was I've been working on this side. I basically finished the tree and I've started working on our little horse companion there. And so that's basically what I did. Did I tell you I worked on this for 9 days and I put in 2,102 stitches into it. So lots of fun. This is going to be a slightly focused piece for me in March as I talk about my plans. But I love Frosted Pumpkin. Really looking forward to it. They've already started talking about their 2024 stitch along, and I'm really very excited about it. But I'm also trying very hard to stitch from stash. With that though, I did purchase some stuff. So I'm not very good at it. So I didn't say this at the beginning, but just so that everyone knows, I am not going to be doing a whole lot of editing of these videos. And if you watched me before, I used to do a lot of heavy editing from you. You don't know. But on my Instagram, I do post all of my progress pictures for the month. So if you are one of those people who's very interested in seeing how much, what does that look like? What does 2,000 stitches look like in a piece? Or, so on my Instagram, which is boba_JessieC. The information's in the show notes below. You can go take a look at my monthly progress that I post at the end of the month, where I do have the before picture of what it looked like at the beginning of the month compared to where it is at the end of the month. So you can actually do a comparison between the two if you are interested in that. So, all right. So that is Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Next up is Dr. Georgina Wyndham by Forbidden Fiber Co. This is my travel piece. I only stitch on Miss Dr. Georgina whenever I'm traveling about, so not a whole lot that gets done. I only worked on her for 2 days when I was at the doctor's office, and in that 2 days I put in 201 stitches, and you can't really tell because all I've been doing is just adding rows. I basically added about 3 or 4 rows here on this side, so that's it. Not very super exciting, but this is on 32 count linen, Love Potion, also by Forbidden Fiber Co. Obviously 2/2 with the called for Forbidden Fiber Co. floss. Very cute. I love the steampunk sheep line. It's, I have the whole series and I better really get working if I'm going to finish these, in less than like 10 years. But otherwise, for the most part, it has remained my travel stitching. Okay. I just realized something. I might need to take a bit of a pause when we get to it. As you saw, I was just trying to read something off of my printer, but when I thought I printed, it's not printed. Oh, well, there you go. All right. Next up is Cinderella Wishes Upon a Dream. This is by MCG Textiles. The artwork is by Thomas Kincaid. This is my oldest whip. I've been working on this for 10 years at least. And it's, it is what it is. It is one of my goals to finish for this year, but it is always one of those, we will see, won't we? And this is where it is currently. I ended up working on this for 4 days. I put in 890 stitches. Again, this is another one where the stitch count is not quite reflective of what got done. So basically what I did is that I am going across. I'm basically finishing the row. And so, so I basically from here on down just kind of filled in the cross. But what, again, is not counted in that number is that right here is all of these purple French knots I put in, and I finished doing all the French knots in her dress, as well as all the back stitching that is in her dress. Now, I don't want you to get too close to it. I'm terrible at making French knots, so I don't think they look very good. I'm hoping that from a distance they look fine, because I'm going to assume that once it's framed and on the wall that people will not be coming up and doing some scrutiny of the quality of these knots. But there it is. 890 stitches basically finished that row. There's a little bit left. You'll see there's a little bit hanging out over here that needs to be done. But, that's a month's worth of stitching. Again, that was 4 days. I think if I can sustain that, I might be able to finish this by the end of the year. If I can do a row a month, let's declare that. Let's declare that the goal. A row a month, for until it's done. And I think there's only like 5 rows. So, so that's it. Oops. All right. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to pause because, as you saw, I just made some damage, but you won't notice. All right. Hopefully that was a seamless transition, as I went to get the thing that didn't print. So, and now has been printed. So last project up is my tie dragon. If you watch my January video, I talked about having a goal, which was that I am and was born in the year of the dragon. And so this year, for those of you who are not aware, this is the lunar year of the dragon. And so I really wanted to commemorate the year and stitch on a dragon, as many of you are. There's various people hosting dragon sales out there, and so I love it. I love seeing all the dragons everywhere, whether Western or Eastern or whatever. I'm really very excited about that. But one of the things that I really wanted to also work on for myself at my grand age of 47 was that I really wanted to readopt many aspects of my Thai culture, which I lost a little bit along the ways of being raised here in the States, and so just really briefly, like, I have a lot of Thai culture in the sense of like behavior and social customs and things like that, because I was raised by a Thai mom and we're Buddhist and went to temple and things like that. But but like the things that you just know when you live in a country, that's history, it's art, it's those types of things you don't really know when you don't live in a country, unless someone makes a real effort to show that to you. And honestly, my parents didn't, and that's okay. I don't blame them for that. But it's they were like, well, you're an American, you live in America. I'm of that generation where it was immersion was really kind of the goal. And so, but that being all said, I really wanted to stitch a Thai dragon, and because I'm half Thai. And well, I searched around, and I really couldn't find any patterns that existed. They may exist out there. Thai, there's a lot of cross stitchers in Thailand. Pin Stitch is a Thai-based cross stitching company, and but I couldn't find any that were Thai dragons. There were lots of Eastern dragons, but not necessarily inspirational of the appearances of Thai dragons specifically. And so I charted one. And now what I did, just so that everyone is aware, just upfront about it, I haven't violated any copyright. I have a Canva account, and I found a Thai. I did a lot of searching, and I looked at statues and artwork of Thai dragons, and so I was able to find within Canva a piece of art that was not going to be difficult to for a first time designer. Like, I'm not a designer, like, but the first time creating a pattern out of a picture. And so I looked for ones and things like that. And so this is what I found, and this is what I charted. So if you actually kind of search and look at Thai dragons, they kind of have like a swirly kind of things. The coloring I picked was based off of the various statues that I found, as well as artwork that tended to show the head being in gold and the body being in green, although sometimes it was also in blue. And so this is what I charted. I'm really actually very proud of it. I don't know if other people will be proud of it, but I love it. And so I'm really happy with it. So I did start stitching it. I did have a whole frogging incident though, so I ended up using a piece of fabric that was too small, so I restarted it. So this is 2 days of work, 554 stitches so far. Obviously, it's going to be a big piece. Um, I didn't want to chart a big piece, but I think when I was working on it and I kind of set it at a smaller size, I felt like I couldn't get the look of the head the way I wanted it to. So, but this is kind of where he is. Obviously, I might make some changes along the way as I stitch, but I'm really looking forward to this. I'm doing this 2/2 with my called for floss, and this is on 32 count Lugana, and this is aloe. Um, I think it is Aloe I Love You by Yummy Fiberlicious. Hold on one second. Let me pull up the information so I give you the right what fabric this is. Oh goodness. There he goes. I was like, why is it not pulling up? It is Do You See What I See? By Yummy Fiberlicious Fibers. So so that's it. That is all of my stitching for the month. Again, this, my stitch numbers are not really reflective because I did stitch this on another piece of fabric, and that was like another 200 or so stitches. I did not include that in my stitch count for the month. I do try to only include the stitch counts of what's being tracked in my actual Notion. And so, so again, not quite fully reflective of everything, but I'm really very excited about all of this progress. So yay. So next up is plans for March. Now March is March. And I don't know if y'all are aware, but in March there's this whole thing with basketball where they play games and there's brackets involved. And so, as part of Stitching Fandom, and of course, it's also hosted by other people do some bracket challenges. And so I am doing my own bracket challenge as well in the Stitching fan group. The theme for this year is Disney. And so our Stitching challenge is based on Moana. And so it's a Moana's bracket challenge. And I am going to be doing a Battle of the Sal is what I'm going to be doing. I've already failed on day one. We ended up going to the rodeo on March 1st, so no stitching got done yesterday. But I've picked 4 whips that are in progress. So these are not whips, sals. I have 4 sals that are in progress. I do have other sals that I hadn't started on or things like that. If by some miracle I finish one of these this month, I'll bring in another one of those sals to work on. But the Battle of the Sals is 4 of my sals that are in progress that I just would like to go ahead and get some real progress on. The first one is Castle Homecoming. Then I'm working on Greenhouse of Oddities by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. Then Anna Green Gables, which is the Stitching Book Club. That's Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. And then Creepy Village, also by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. I don't know how I'm going to feel about stitching on Creepy Village. I'm just going to be honest. Like, I don't consider myself too much of a seasonal stitcher because I'm a Halloween 365. But I don't know, March, I'm not sure if I'm feeling like Christmas, creepy Christmas in March. But we'll see. Those are also ornaments, so I think that I have a better shot of getting those done. So follow along with me on my bracket challenge and check in next month. All being well, I'll basically end up working on those 4 projects. I'm going to work on, obviously, get Stitch for Pride done. All being well, I want to stay on top of that. And I also would like to continue with my challenge that I just gave myself in this video for Cinderella Wishes Upon a Dream to finish 1 row of the chart in that as well. But March is a busy month. We have travel plans. We will be going to Austin for my husband's birthday as well as for Easter. This year his birthday falls on Easter, so we'll be in Austin with my in-laws celebrating his birthday and with them celebrating Easter. As I mentioned just a few minutes ago, my family is Buddhist. We don't celebrate the holiday for myself, so it works out good for his family that we're able to do the holidays with them. And that's going to kind of be my March plan. I'm hoping that since my work is now starting to, I'm always busy. Like I work, a solid amount of time. But my husband keeps reminding me that I need to be sure I stick to my 40-hour week and, take care of myself. And be sure I stay balanced. And so I'm really going to try my best to not be too crazy and continue to stitch. We also have some plans. We are metalheads, and Hell's Heroes is a metal festival that's happening here in Houston. And so we will be doing that in one weekend where it's like 3, 4, I think maybe 4 days of music. Really excited about that. And so we got a good month. We got a good month planned. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But otherwise, that's pretty much it of my stitching. Oh, I have one more thing to talk about. I did have some bad news in February. If y'all follow me on Instagram, you might have already seen this. But I had ordered a bag from Jasmine's Custom Bag for the Mulan bag. And unfortunately, it came damaged. We have been having a lot of problems with one of our post offices, distribution centers here in Houston. We have more than one. There's more than one facility in Houston where mail comes in, and then gets dispersed out. If it comes in one of these other ones, you're fine. Your package is going to be a-okay. But there's one in North Houston that has been really problematic. Like, the news has been covering it, and honestly, people need to just start calling their congressman, because something needs to be done about it. But unfortunately, I think my package came through that North Center, and it was completely damaged. It was all ripped up. Like, when it arrived, it was just wrapped in saran wrap. There's no way to know, like, where the damage happened. I'm going to assume it happened in that facility because it's all the problems that people had wedding dresses that are lost in that facility. It's bad. It's bad. It really is. So this is how it came. It came damaged. And so you can see, like, that got ripped up on the back. That got ripped up. And so it just makes me sad. Like, I really was like, can I salvage this? Like, here's the corner here. And I don't think I could. Like, I'm not that good of a seamstress. I guess I could trim it. Like, I could deconstruct it and wash it and trim it and get new zippers and stuff. But honestly, I can sew, but I don't know if I got the skills to make this. But I did reach out to Jen at Jasmine's Customs Bag, and she did make me another one. It is on its way. She sent it tracked this time around, so it will hopefully get a little bit more care in its delivery. But this is where my dragon salad, my dragon pattern is going to live once I get a new bag. Thankfully, this was not a true custom, like where she, a lot of her bags are one-offs and things. She was able to recreate it because it was embroidered. But yeah, that made me a little sad. A lot of people, I know that some people recommended on the Instagram post about me filing claims and things like that. It's not an inexpensive bag. I do not want to imply overall that it was an inexpensive bag, because it's not. I mean, for project bags, her bags are on high end, well worth the dollars. If you've never gotten a Jasmine bag, they're beautiful. They're so incredibly well crafted. They're you can keep your projects on your Q snaps and stick them in there, and there's a separate pouch to keep your supplies. I love them. I really do. But they are not inexpensive, but overall, in the grand scheme of the amount of work that it would take to file the claim, and in hopes of them trying to figure out, because it was an international shipping, there was also going to have to be an investigation on whether or not it may have happened on the Canadian side. And then actually the person who's supposed to make the claim is the person who incurred the cost, which would have been Jen in Canada. And then it would have been like it would have been a whole international incident. So I just ordered another one. It's fine. We are fortunate enough that we'll just absorb the cost of this. I'm going to stick it in my textile recycling bag, and it will serve a future purpose in recycled fabrics. So, but that is all. Now that is truly all my stitching content. I did not. Did I buy anything? I don't think I bought anything. I did get the Princess Bride box from Forbidden Fiber Co., but I think I told y'all about that in January. I don't remember when it came. But but if you were, I don't have it in front of me, but if you are interested in seeing what that box was, my two friends did an unboxing. Christy at Christy's corner. I'm sorry, I'm gonna blame it on the sick. Everything's gonna be below, but Christy did an unboxing, as well as my friend Carrie at DNA Geek Craft also did an unboxing in their in her most recent Flosstube, but I'll link them down, the videos down below, so that way you can go and check out the unboxing of the Princess Bride box if because I did get the same box. I could not wait. I just ripped open to it, and so I didn't do an unboxing for it. But that is it. I also did purchase the Ever After Sal by Forbidden Fiber Co. I just did that a couple of days ago. Yesterday, not a couple of days. I did that yesterday. So when that comes in, but of course that's a Sal, and that will be as we go on that. So that's it. Well, thanks so much, everybody. For those of you who are staying, I don't have actually any kind of life story to share for February. I like this is gonna like my big huzzah was I organized my bathroom. Like that's it. That's all I did. Because it was again a busy month and we were just trying to rest. We didn't. We really did. We've been watching a lot of shows and. But my bathroom is really clean now. Like hardcore cleaning. I'm scrubbing the tubs and stuff, and like the gross stuff, like going in and cleaning behind the toilet and like doing the baseboards, and that's hard. I've been signed up for this class now for a couple of years, but I've never really finished the course. And so I ended up working on it, which was Take Your House Back. There's 3 organizers, which is Cass, which is the clutter bug, which is how I was introduced into it. I think I've mentioned this before in other videos where Cass is the one who does organizing styles based on the type of bug that you are, but really what it is a division between are you a macro organizer versus a micro organizer, and are you a visual or hidden preference? And I am a micro visual preferred person, so I like things to be categorized and put in together, but I like to be able to see things. Once things are out of sight, out of mind, I don't tend to use them and I forget about them. So I don't like things being hidden in drawers. And like the only thing I really want in drawers are stuff that I don't use at all. Like it's where I keep storage, it's where things are partially used and that kind of stuff. So, but the other person's is Dana and the Minimalist Mom. I don't remember Dana's company's name, but it's also the Minimalist Mom. And so they do these series of different ways of organizing. So I basically put on the videos, put on my headphones, and I just went to town cleaning that bathroom and organizing it, decluttering my drawers, throwing away all of those hotel samples that I've had for years that I'm not using, and I got everything sorted, and I'm really happy with it. I don't know if you really want to see a picture of my bathroom, but it looks great. But I will also tell y'all, what I really want in life. I really want to be able to afford one of these expert housekeepers. I don't, like any job, like any profession, the more you do something, the more you're an expert in it. And, this is I really do think this is high skill work. Like people who know how to clean really well and efficiently, like that's high skill. Because I can't do that. Like it took me 2 days to accomplish what I accomplished in the bathroom. And I bet you, like, if I had hired a professional, they would have been done in like an hour. Because I just didn't know what I was doing. Like I had to research, like like how do you get rid of hard water stains? And like, and then I'm like, do I even have the right equipment and stuff to do it? And I didn't. And so hands off to professional housekeeping folks, because that's hard work and you have to know things to do that well. And my dream in life is to be able to hire one of those people. Not to do the everyday stuff. I can sweep, I can vacuum, I can do dishes. I want that hard stuff, like the baseboards, the stains that I don't know how to get out, and like doing that type of cleaning that will make you feel luxurious. Anyways, thanks so much for those of you who stayed. I hope that you all are having a stitching good time wherever you are. Have a fantastic March. It's spring, everybody. And with that, I'm going to leave you with the joke of the month. Courtesy of Bird and Blend. When I got my tea, they send you a joke, and this is a joke that I got. What do you call a lazy kangaroo? A pouch potato. Take care, everyone. See you next month.